Okay, so tip 2. For this, we're going to be looking at kind of a split, really. It's chord changes and keeping it simple. I did think there'd be 2 tips there, but they're more or less one, really. So, and you can use the keep it simple in other scenarios, but I think for the chord changes, this is going to be quite important. Now, so if you're playing in a group scenario, and I kind of talked about the orchestra idea where everyone's got a role to play. Obviously, when you're on your own, you obviously play a lot. And you want to hear the song, so you implement the rhythm and you're filling in all the gaps, if you like. But when you're playing in the group, it's a little bit easier. It should be easier, not more difficult, because you've got a lot of other people playing around with you that can fill out the sound and carry the sound, meaning that if you've got a difficult chord and you find it difficult getting there, rather than trying to get the rhythm in and trying really hard, and sometimes what happens when you force the change, or you're trying to really focus on the change, the rhythm will go out of sync, and it kind of throws like the music a little bit, and it might be someone next to you like will feed off of that and then get lost, and it'll be a pyramid effect where we're all over the place for a little bit. But that's okay, it's fun, you know. You're not going to get too worried about that happening in our groups or whatever. But obviously for yourself, it's a good thing to sort of know when that's going to happen and to be in control of it. So what I would say is keeping it simple. This is something I've used quite a lot. If there's a piece of music I'm not used to or familiar to, and I'm playing with other musicians, I'll hold back, and I will basically play what I'm comfortable with, that I know is working, until I really feel like I've got the idea of what's going on and start to feel more confident of putting other parts over the top. So for example, if we look at Stand By Me, this is going to be the trademark example of this tip lesson. So we're looking at C as an easy chord, A minor is an easy chord, F's fairly easy chord because you've only got to add a finger. When you go to the G, you've got to take all your fingers off and you get to the G. So if you're starting out, if you're a beginner and you're not quite used to doing the change between F and G, so just looking at it from a beginner perspective at the moment. But if you're more advanced, it may be other chords, B minor, E minor, it might be a D chord. Whatever chords you feel are slightly tricky for you to get there quick enough or to make smooth and comfortable, this will work with. So if I'm going to the F to the G, let me use that example where I've got left off all my fingers. If I know that that's coming, instead of playing the full strumming pattern that I could confidently do on the C, on the A minor, I feel quite confident, they're really easy chords. Put that finger, now I've got a chain, and it goes out, and I'm putting my fingers in there. That was quite a good little bit of acting from me, I think. And so the idea is I get into the G and I'm like losing it a little bit, and then rushing the change. The rhythm goes a bit out the window until I feel comfortable that I'm in time again. So what you want to do is you just want to, like we did in that the tip part on the first part of the lesson, is 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. Give yourself more time, play less, do less strumming, keep it simple, which is kind of the second part of the tip, really. So in other words, I will strum the F, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, then go back in. Now when you're on your own, it sounds empty and it sounds like you're missing something because you haven't got that continuity of rhythm. But when you're in a group, not only will it not be noticed, but you're actually doing everyone a favour, because instead of making the mistake or rushing that chord change in, you're keeping the flow of music, and you're just sitting back and you're playing a simpler way to make sure that the whole music, us all playing together, is kept smooth. So certainly I will say that if you get a song you're not really familiar to, or there's a couple of dodgy chords in there, and even if there's like a lot of chord changes, so some songs will have several chord changes, maybe over a bar or 2 bars, and it'll be quite tricky, and you're thinking, okay, so omit 2 or 3 of the chords. Say if the sequence, like I think we've done this with Lean On Me, which was, and it was so I just, so that's quite tricky for some people, getting all those. So getting those chords, which is C, D minor, E minor, F, F, E minor, D minor, C. But you can play bum 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 bum. So you can see I'm playing the C and the F, quite relaxed beat. 1, 2, dun, 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 dun. So I'm actually just playing. I've got the rhythm in my head. I've got, you know, you can count it if you want, but you've got the song in your head. You know where those changes are. You can almost hear it, the changes, easy in your head. But playing them, your fingers technically might get a bit sticky and you might struggle. So the trick will be eliminate that when you're playing in a group. Obviously when you're on your own and you're practicing, you want to nail that. You want to practice getting those changes right. How you do that? You do it really slowly. Everything. If you want to get good on anything, you have to do it really slowly. Program the brain. That's very simple. You just practice going C, then go to the D minor, move it up to the E minor, and then the F, and you do everything slowly, and then you try and keep it consistent so that it stays in time. 1, 2, 3, 4. But if you're playing in a group and you've got to play it and someone can play it really well and they're playing it up to speed, that's going to be impossible for you. So don't try and do it. Don't make it simple, because obviously the idea of playing in a group is complimenting everyone and making it sound good as a group. So keep it simple and eliminate beats or bars, eliminate those difficult strumming patterns. Keep it very, very simple when you're doing any difficult chord changes. That's going to be tip 2.